And a pleasant Wednesday evening to you. Welcome inside historic Bosse Field as the Schaumburg Boomers and Evansville Otters kick off game number 2 in this 3-game set. He's Bill McEwen. I'm Matthew Will. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Otters Baseball. You know what? Yesterday gave us exactly what we expected out of these two teams. There was fight in both until the very end. Otters came out on top 10-6.
Well, I thought there was good pitching early on and with the Otters, and then the offense exploded with Baez getting that grand slam, and that more or less was a big hit, which didn't it meant a lot at the time, but later in the ninth inning it really meant a lot.
Yeah, the Otters actually got behind in the game fairly early. It was a third-inning RBI double from Braxton Davidson that gave Schaumburg the lead. It was back-to-back doubles for him, actually, that got him in on second and brought him home. And, you know, for the next couple innings, you and I thought that could very well be the only run we see all night with the way that these two pitchers are going.
Well, I agree with you. That's what I thought was going to be a pitcher's duel, and it was at that period of time. And, give our pitcher credit. He looked mighty fine. He had an outstanding curveball in the early innings, which he used, and later went to the fastball, and I think that hurt him insofar as he didn't have good command of the fastball, whereas his curveball, he excelled.
Well, the Otters have had, of course, great starting pitching all year long, but every pitcher has dealt with this in the Otters rotation, giving up those walks and singular base hits and really having to be methodical on the mound and work around them. And Ryan O'Reilly did that very well last night.
Well, I thought most of the Evansville starters within the last couple weeks have gotten themselves in jams, and yet, meticulously, they got themselves out of it. You know, a strikeout when you needed it, pop fly. So let's give golden stars to our starting pitchers.
Well, as far as starting pitchers are, it doesn't get much better in this rotation than the man we're going to see tonight, Parker Brahms. Tell you what, Parker Brahms is third in the entire league in ERA with a 2.72, and that's just the beginning of what Parker Brahms brings you. He has put together a couple of really impressive starts throughout the year. In his last two, he's really started to limit things, but it's the two prior to that you have to take a really hard look at. 25 strikeouts in a combined 14 innings a couple of starts ago. He's worked himself out to a 4-1 record this year, and it doesn't seem like there's many pitchers in this league that are sizing up Parker Brahms right now.
Well, let's look at his overall strikeouts. He's got 59 strikeouts compared to 16 walks. Now, that's telling you something. He is throwing strikes.
Yeah, those 59 strikeouts are good for 10th most in the league. And, Parker Brahms has had something that is incredibly valuable to every single one of his starts so far, and that's been incredible defensive efforts the nights he's out there. I wouldn't say more than other games, but certainly it's worth noting that the defense he's received has been exceptional every single outing, and that's made things a lot easier for him.
Well, I'm going to agree with you, but at the same token, his job is to throw strikes and win, and those other 8 guys are supposed to support him. So giving credit to them, they deserve it. But again, that's their job.
The stat quality starts is technically giving up 3 or less runs and going at least 6 innings. Now, of course, it's not the greatest stat to use in the grand scheme of things, but it's worth noting that Parker Brahms has a quality start in all but one of his starts. That means he's gone at least 6 innings and kept his run totals under 3. That puts you in a position to win a ball game when you do that consistently.
Well, I'll agree with you there, and I think he deserves to be in the All-Star game too.
Absolutely.
So that's something we're going to have to wait and see when those ballots arrive, so you guys can vote for him.
The only loss Parker Brahms has taken all season was back at Ottawa. The game was 2-0, and the only reason the Otters lost is because they couldn't get anything going offensively. Parker Brahms had another great game in that one as well. So, not a lot to be upset with in Parker Brahms' games. He's averaging over 10 strikeouts a game, has an opposing batting average under 200. Batters struggle against him, and if he can continue that tonight, the Otters have a chance to tie their all-time winning streak with 9 games if they can get a win tonight.
Well, let's hope they get that streak of 9 because, they're chasing the backs of that Washington crew.
Absolutely.
And I like to see at the end of the year the Otters be in first place and get the automatic bye in the playoffs.
Well, and it's time to circle that camera.
Yes.
Circle that calendar. Next week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Washington comes to town, and we have the first matchup between the two. Should be a fun weekend. That's the last 3 games the Otters and Washington play before the All-Star break.
Oh, that is going to be interesting.
Talk about setting the table for the back half of the season.
I'd say that that deserves an apple pie for dessert.
Well, and then you have to wait a long time to see Washington and Evansville play again. They don't play again until the 3rd week of August or the second to last week of the season. They play 2 final times, both at Washington, in the last 3 weeks of the season. Of course, there's a lot that can happen between now and then.
Exactly.
That could decide the division in those 6 games at the end of the season.
I agree with you, and but as you said, it's a long way away.
Absolutely.
And anything could happen in between. The Otter motor car could get stalled somewhere along the interstate. So.
Well, tomorrow night, once the game finishes, the Otters have officially played half of their regular season. It looks like you're going to play a little bit more than half the season in the front half, and then after the All-Star break, it's just under half the season. But in the grand scheme of things, crazy to think that we're already halfway through this. The Otters have put themselves in a good position, and it's because a lot of individual efforts have led this ship.
Well, I'll agree, and I think the Otters have a fine team this year, and I'm certainly hoping that they end up in first place in their division. And before I forget it, a lot of people out there in the baseball world didn't hear our PA announcer announce that it is your birthday today, and happy birthday to you. And Preston Linebacker, he's also having a birthday. So here we have 2 of our press room people, and Matthew, Will, and Preston Linebacker. Now, they say you're 24, and I think Preston is 54. I'm not sure because I remember him going back when he was with the University of Evansville when we were on 91.5 FM, and he was one of those producers and PA announcer, or not PA, radio announcers. So, but anyway, happy birthday to you, and many, many, many more.
Well, thanks a ton. Take this opportunity right before we get set for the national anthem to walk you through the Frontier League standings as they stand today. Washington is still leading the division with a 32-15 record, but a game and a half back of them are these Evansville Otters. Then it's a huge gap down to this Schaumburg team, who's 8 games back of the lead. Joliet's tied with them at 8 games back as well. Gateway at 9 back. A little bit of a gap to Lake Erie, who's 12.5 back of the lead. Windy City at 13 back. Florence at 14 back. On the East, nothing has changed. Quebec stays at the top. Ottawa a game and a half behind them. Then they all go single file, a game back all the way down the line. Sussex, Tri-City, New York, Trois-Rivières, and New Jersey. Empire State right now the only team that is, well, seemingly out of it. Everyone else has proved that, hey, you got to worry about us at any point of the season. Just as easy as you can go on this 8-game winning streak the Otters are on right now, something can go wrong, and you could go on an 8-game losing streak. So
very easily, a couple of injuries, and you may be in fighting for last place.
It's really nice to be sitting here today, 14 games over 500, because that's buffer room. It allows for some of those bad nights.
And what is the latest on our injury list with Phillips? What's the story on him?
All I've heard on Phillips is it's indefinite at the time, so it's just until they get us a for sure decision. But it does sound like it could be at least a few weeks.
He could be out of the lineup for a couple of weeks?
At least a few weeks is what it sounds like.
We're going to miss that bat.
Yeah, sounds like it's something down inside the left hand, down in the joints. I'm not exactly sure. As soon as we do have a for sure answer, we'll let you know. But it could be some difficult weeks ahead.
I'm going to ask you, you saw this accident happen, right? Was it a Pete Rose slide?
Well, see, that's the thing. Even the coaches that were so close to it happening, no one really knows exactly what caused it. We're not sure if he landed on it bad or if he slid in bad, because he did both at the same time, and it was such a a quick play that it was hard to see exactly what caused it. A lot of us think it might have been when he landed straight down before he actually slid in.
But still a Pete Rose slide head first.
Yeah.
The arms extended first. Whereas, when I grew up, and it was the legs that scored. And we used to wear sliding pads. And what that was you'd slide on the hip, and then you rolled your socks in a ball, and that's what took the second cushion. So you actually never ended a strawberry.
Well, they are getting set for the national anthem, so we'll take one final break before first pitch here. Otters and Boomers coming at you next here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Beautiful night for baseball here in Evansville. Don't go anywhere. First pitch is next. And we are ready for baseball here at historic Bosse Field, nestled in the heart of Evansville, Indiana. One more time, he's Bill McEwen. I'm Matthew Wilt, joining you for another edition of Otterball here on the Otters Digital Network. We want to issue one additional apology due to some more internet outages here in the area of Evansville. Our Flow Sports broadcast is still not wanting to work very well for us. It's unfortunately something out of our control. It's with the internet distributing company that of course, has the internet services coming out. We do have enough bandwidth that is letting us do this audio-only feed for good, at least right now. So we thank you for your patience, and we let you know that we're working on it behind the scenes as much as we can and hope to have it back up as soon as possible.
Well, I'll tell you what, if anyone's going to work hard to get us back on the internet, it's going to be that producer, director, I think it's George, Jorden Fisher, and he is a masterful technician. So we know George is doing his best.
I want to let you know that Frontier League Baseball on Flow Sports is presented by Working Distributors Evansville. I believe they're supposed to be in attendance later this week. Regardless, we're so glad to have them as partners. Parker Brahms back on the mound for the Otters this evening. There's a lot of positive things you can say about Mr. Brahms. We know that his mother is listening. She is one of the diehard supporters of the Otters this year. She's found a way on almost every broadcast, it seems. Glad you're out there supporting your son and the Otters. Brahms enters the game with a 4-1 record across 53 innings, 59 strikeouts, just 16 walks. He averages just over 100 pitches a game, and, well, the name of his game is consistency. He's going to hit the strike zone, and he's going to hit it a lot. Here's the men he's facing for the Boomers. Chase Dawson, the leadoff man, is the Frontier League's leader in triples. And, the crazy thing about Dawson is he has 15 triples as we stand today. If he gets one more, he's tied the Frontier League's single-season record. And we're not even halfway in.
I think if I played 100 ball games, I should say 100,000 ball games, I never got 5 triples, let alone 15.
Pitch is sent right back up the middle towards Armstrong. He'll fire to first in time for out number 1. 4-3 on the putout. Dawson will be followed by Matt Botcher at DH. Clint Hardy at right field. Batting fourth is the left fielder Mike Hart. Batting fifth, the first baseman Braxton Davidson. Batting sixth, the shortstop Alec Craig. Batting 7th, the third baseman William Sullis. Batting 8th is the center fielder Brett Milazzo. Batting 9th is Chris Ruiz, the catcher. Here's a look through the Otters' defensive alignment. J.R. Davis in left, Miles Gordon in center, Jeffrey Baez in right, Anthony Torrelas at third, George Khalil at short, Andy Armstrong at second, Zach Bierman at first. Justin Felix is behind the plate.
And before the game, I was talking to the clubhouse boy, the field manager. I don't know what else he is, but Benny Garnett, who he does about everything here. And we were talking about Armstrong, and he said, doesn't he have the smoothest hands? So you've got the clubhouse boy who did play high school baseball in Evansville, recommending one of the Otter players. So, Benny, thank you for your comment.
0-2 is the count to Matt Botcher. A little bit of a wait before his pitch. It's on the way. It's sent towards Bierman at first. A nice scoop. He'll say, I got this on my own, and steps on first for the second out of the inning.
I like that first baseman, number 45. I think he has a heck of a job in fielding, but I think he's more a potential offensive hitter. But either way, I'm happy he's out in the field.
Absolutely. He's certainly an asset for the Otters to have out there on the first base side. Clint Hardy, who was the leadoff man last night for the Boomers, at the plate now. In last night's game, he had 3 hits, 2 singles, a double, and a walk. Fires one right at Armstrong, and he brings it in on a line. Just like that, the first inning's over. We head to the bottom half of the first, still scoreless from Evansville. And as we head to the bottom half of the first, Aaron Glickstein on the mound for the Schaumburg Boomers. He has appeared in 16 games this season, but only 3 as a starter. He is an exceptional bullpen arm, but as everyone knows in this sport, sometimes you have to do something that stretches the capacity of your game a little bit. That's what Glickstein has to do right now. The baffling thing about him, he has 42 strikeouts to his name, just 1 walk.
1 walk.
1.
My
It's
goodness.
17 appearances.
I'm going to change subject for a second. Look down there in the Schaumburg bullpen. They're playing a game of bocce. That's an Italian game where in bocce they'd be throwing a heavy metal ball. Here they're throwing baseballs and trying to outdo each other. There's a whole bunch of them. I never seen that before. But anyway, come to Bossy Field in Otterville and you'll see everything.
Here's a look through the Otters lineup. Miles Gordon, Zach Bierman, J.R. Davis in the front 3. Sinsley, Baez, Khalil in the middle. Torrelas, Felix, and Armstrong rounded out. Edward Jones, leadoff hitter of the game, is Miles Gordon, the center field lefty. First pitch to him is outside for ball 1. No Elijah McNamee. It sounds like for the weekend as he's attending to some family things back home. Should be back with the team, I believe, Sunday.
Oh, he's gone. I mean, he's not here tonight.
With the family, yeah.
Oh, well, I wish it's nothing. I hope it's nothing serious.
1-0 from Gordon, sent out into left field. A diving play, and it's brought in by Hart. Looked like he had a good play on it, and then the ball sank quickly on him, and he had to lay out for it. Makes a nice play out there for out number 1.
We're going to miss Big Hit Mac.
Absolutely.
Not only his bat, but his great defense. My goodness.
And lucky enough, the Otters have J.R. Davis, who is a strong outfielder as well. He'll play left. Baez is going to fill in at right. We know what Baez can do. Oh, a hot shot to the Schaumburg bullpen. They all get out of the way in time. Zach Bierman's at the plate. The lefty is looking at an 0-1 count. Let's look through the defensive alignment real quick. It's Hart, Milazzo, Hardy, left to right across the outfield. Salas playing third, Craig at short, Dawson at second, Davidson at first, and Chris Ruiz mans behind the plate. 0-1 sent sharply towards Dawson. He pulls it out of the air and brings it over to first in time for out number 2. That ball was hit very sharply at him, and he had to make a backhanded play to get over to it.
You can't hit him any harder than that. I mean, he not only hit that ball, he smashed it. He killed it. He destroyed it. And probably the stitches are probably loose right now.
But after all the excitement, it's 2 up, 2 down. J.R. Davis headed to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. J.R. Davis last night, not a bad night for him. 1 for 3 line, but he did reach base 2 other times with a hit by pitch and a walk. Came around to score once as well. Davis starts out with a called strike. The 0-1 headed home towards him. Ooh, man, just missed on the outside edge of the plate. So the thing about Aaron Glickstein, he's going to throw strikes.
Well, that's the secret. I'm talking to my good friend Bobby Botts, and hopefully...
Ball sent sharply towards the first baseman. Davidson has to use the body a little to save it, but he does in time. Over to first, and it's 3 up, 3 down in the first inning for the Otters as well. We head to the second. Still looking for our first run, still looking for our first hit. Should be another fun game here between the Boomers and the Otters. And just like that, we're in the second inning. 2 really good innings from the 2 starters thus far. More on that in a second. Here's a look through the Frontier League standings again. If you missed it during pregame, Washington still holding on to that 1.5 lead over these Evansville Otters. Schaumburg and Joliet both 8 games back in the West. Right now, there's a big gap there between 2 and 3. Give it 2 or 3 weeks, and that can all change.
Yeah, okay. Yes, it's a quick game because that first inning, the Otters pitcher Parker only threw 6 pitches.
And you know what all 6 were? Strikes.
Yeah.
You'll take that any day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that will bring up the 4-hole hitter Mike Hart, the left fielder, in last night's game. 2 hits. Both were doubles. One had an RBI attached to it, and he scored 2 runs last night.
Yep. And they only scored, what, 4?
Ended up scoring 6 because of
6,
the error
10 to
at the
6.
end.
Yes, okay. I'm forgetting those last couple runs that scored.
First pitch to him is a swinging strike 1. Looked like he tried to stop the bat around, and it just didn't really follow directions.
Right.
Yeah, combined it was a inning that was just 13 pitches long. Glickstein had 7 total pitches, 5 were strikes. That's one of the quickest firsts we've ever seen. Pitch stays in the zone, high and outside for a called strike 2.
You mentioned Parker's mother is a great fan and listening, and I'd like to say to Parker's mother, thank you for having that young man. He's an asset to the Otters, and we thank you.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Mike Hart now. Pitch on the way. Just misses to the low edge.
And it looked like that sank a little, but I'm
Yeah,
not
it did.
sure.
So right back up there is Parker Brahms. 2-2 is the count. Pitch is on the way. Called strike 3.
Wow.
A late punch out, and Mike Hart cannot believe it. He is yelling back at the home plate umpire, Brandon Spivak.
Well, you called it when you said a delayed call. And it was. I mean, I thought it was a strike, and then all of a sudden, that umpire jumped and gave you that strike 3 call. And I'm saying, oh my God, a little slow, but very effective anyway.
It's all for the drama, right? The Hollywood effect.
Right, the theater.
Yes.
Theater, yes.
Well, regardless, the bases are empty. There's one out, and Braxton Davidson's headed to the plate. Every time he swung the bat last night, he did it with authority.
Oh, did he? I thought he was going to drill a hole in that batter's box the way he winds up and unleashes that swing of his, and he does like a gymnastic pivot or something.
Yeah. Well, the first pitch to him is a swinging strike 1. A big swing for him. This one sent to the right side past the diving Andy Armstrong, and the game has its first hit, a single to Braxton Davidson.
I want to tell you something. If Matthew, if Armstrong had gotten that ground ball and thrown him out, I'm going to call Pittsburgh and say, hey, there's a shortstop down here that belongs right now in the major leagues.
I was going to say, I would expect you to hand drive him to the All-Star game with a play like that.
Well, at $5 a gallon of gas, I can't afford it.
Alec Craig at the plate now, 1 out, 1 on. First pitch to him, called strike on the outside edge.
Oh, I got gas this morning for $4.69, so it's coming down a little.
0-1 for Craig. Pitch on its way. Again catches the outside edge, and I think Parker Brahms has realized I've got Brandon Spivak, the home plate umpire, calling that pitch a strike. I'm going to attack there. 0-2 the count to Alec Craig after back-to-back called strikes on the outside edge. Felix sets up out there. Launch towards right field. Baez running back towards the corner, and it's off of the light pole. Foul.
Oh, my goodness. That was really a ton of a hit.
And it with the ball hitting the light pole, it reminds me of something I saw today in last night's games in the Japanese Baseball League in Tokyo. A player hit a home run that bounced off the top of the foul pole. Hard hit to the exact same place that went by Davidson. There's runners on first and second. Now he's advancing towards third, and he does get there after the ball was bobbled by Jeffrey Baez.
It's going to be an error, I think, on Baez.
So Davidson's going to reach third on the E9.
Yeah. So you're watching Japanese baseball on what channel?
It was I wasn't able to watch it. It was just their highlights that had got posted later.
Okay.
But they said that had it not hit the light pole, it was an expected home run that was going to travel 420 feet.
Wow.
But it landed on top of their foul pole and bounced off, which is still a home run, but I've never seen one do that. Pitch outside for ball 1 to William Salas, the third baseman.
Well, I was excited maybe, 30, 40 years ago when I was invited to be a coach in Japan. And Dick Hager and I were supposed to go over there as a team, and I don't know, something happened and we didn't go. But I was kind of excited to visit Japan.
Well, the Japanese Baseball League has become a huge metropolis for talented ball players. I mean, you see a lot of both guys who are ex-major leaguers go over there and play a couple of years, and now we're even starting to see the MLB reach out to players there and bring them in.
Oh, yeah, and I'll tell you what, they're pretty good.
Throw out to second on the stolen base attempt. He's in plenty of time. Alex Craig with a stolen base here in the second.
Armstrong did a pretty good job of backhanding and swiping, but It just wasn't enough, and it looked like Felix had a double pump. I don't know what it was. Couldn't
Well,
get the glove. I mean, the ball out of the glove or whatever.
and you can have a great throw and a great receival. Sometimes you just can't beat a good jump, and
Oh
Craig
no,
got a very good
that's right.
jump there.
Yeah,
2-0 is the count. Parker Brahms trying to keep this game scoreless.
it was a good throw.
2-0, pushed out into right field. Baez running towards it. The slide, it rolls out of his glove. One run's going to score on what I believe is going to be a single.
Well, we didn't get the score yet.
But it does. Nonetheless, a run scores.
Yep.
On the play out there, Davidson comes home. Craig goes to third. And the Boomers have themselves a second straight game where they have an early lead.
Well, that run won't count if it's an error, right?
Number 6, Brett Malazzo.
Did we rule yet? Base hit.
RBI single from William Salas, and after getting the first out with a strikeout, Parker Brahms has allowed 3 straight singles.
Yeah, we only got, and that stolen base, that runner now is on third, thank God. But all those hits have been in right field.
And it certainly could be that there's a bit of a growing pain here as Jeffrey Baez is having to play right field, a position he's not super used to.
Well, that's what I wondered, why you would take a man from his normal position of left, move him to right when he's not accustomed. You know, it's a different angle. The ball coming off a right-hander is slicing to the right. It's different in left field. If I were, well, anyway.
0-1 to Salas. High outside. Ball 1 evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, I did want to bring up, you and I spent a lot of time talking about what impression that we've gotten from this starting rotation for the Otters. As a team, the Otters are pitching at a very high level. Another throw out to second.
Now
this is
he's
a good
out.
throw.
He is
And
out.
out by a mile is William Salas.
Well, did you notice something? That runner, he broke for a second on the steal, but then he stopped. And then he like more or less trotted into second. I can't understand the philosophy, what he had in his mind, the
It almost
logic.
looked like he took a wrong step and slipped up or something.
Yeah,
Like
and
he was just-
regretted it and just said,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'm out. But that's a big out.
Pitch on the way home. Sent out towards left. Chasing back is Davis. Brings it in for out number 3. That caught stealing ends up being huge. It's just a 1-0 advantage for Schaumburg as we head to the bottom half of the second. Great game here from Bosse Field. Don't go anywhere. Bottom half of the second coming at you next. To the bottom of the second we go. Schaumburg able to grab themselves a lead on back-to-back-to-back singles. But Brahms and the Otters defense, including a good throw from Felix, helped put the inning to a abrupt close, and that sure helps things.
Yeah, that error the Otters had in the that inning was painful.
Yeah. it makes it that the run is unearned
Right.
for Parker Brahms, and somehow that's the first unearned run he's had all year. First pitch to Steven Sinsley. His ball inside. I thought it was going to be called strike.
So did I. I thought that umpire was jumping up to give you the right
I thought
hand.
so, yeah.
But, yeah, this is, there was a umpire years ago.
1-0 on a cracked bat sent towards shallow center field. Craig going back and brings it in for out number 1. And another bat broken. Go get your new lumber at Niehaus Lumber.
Anyway, the umpire was years ago, and he was the worst person. I mean, we're talking about 5 second, 6, 7 second delays in his call. Now, as a catcher, and you had a runner stealing, and you had a 3-2 count, you don't know if you throw it to second base for the out or is it no automatic. I mean, he was terrible. That guy is not in the league anymore.
1 out, bases empty. Jeffrey Baez at the plate. Otters are still looking for their first hit of the ball game. Jeffrey Baez smashed a grand slam to left field last night. It was his second grand slam of the year. First pitch to him, and he was taking all the way. Called strike on the inside edge.
And it looks like there's a little hole in his pants there. He must have been sliding too much.
0-1 is a called strike, and he's down 0-2 in the count.
You see the hole on the right leg?
The 0-2 off the handle of the bat goes foul.
Got jammed in a high inside pitch. When he came in to the Otters last year, I said, oh my God, this guy's going to hit 20 home runs easily. He's got the ability to do it. It's just if he would just glide into the pitch instead of hitting off the back foot.
Pitch to him stays high outside, and it's a 1-2 count now to Jeffrey Baez.
Matthew, in order to hit a ball out of this ballpark, it takes several things, a combination working in conjunction with each other. And that is taking a forward stride with your right foot for a righty, swinging and breaking your wrist when the ball is hit over the plate, and then quickly rotating your hips. You need all three to hit a home run.
2-2, Baez just chops it right back up the middle. Finally picked up by Glickstein. The play at first is just in time for out number 2.
I think Baez conceded that. If you notice, he trotted down the base. He did not run the first base.
It certainly was not as quick as we've seen him run before.
That's right, and you have emphasized his speed. I think if he had gave it his best, he might have beat that out.
Well, I think he thought that it was bouncing a lot more aggressively towards Glickstein than it ended up being. Once it hit the grass that second time, the ball just died.
Exactly. You can't take anything for granted. You got to hustle all times.
George Khalil, first pitch is in there for a called strike. There's no runners on, 2 outs. As the Australian shortstop's looking to grab out base hit number 1 for the Otters on the game.
Now, I'm going to say, I don't know the answer. I'm not a psychiatrist, but do you think Baez trotting down there at first base, that error he had in right field last inning, going from the left field, which he's a very good left fielder, to the right field, which he's not accustomed to, is affecting his overall play?
I don't know about that. I would say that the fact that in the tough inning for the Otters, all 3 balls come towards him. He is getting accustomed to this different positioning. I mean, Jeffrey's a professional player. He's played 900 professional baseball games. I would doubt that he has that many mental lapses in his game.
Well, JR, strikeout.
A swinging strike 3 from George Khalil sits him down, and it's 6 up, 6 down to start for the Otters. We head to the third. Schaumburg still leading this game 1-0. To the top of the third inning we go. Parker Brahms and the Otters return out there to the field. Another empty inning for the Otters, still looking for their first base hit in the game, still looking for their first base runner. And against Glickstein, it's probably going to have to be a base hit, not a guy who gives up free passes at all.
That is amazing. I mean, I can't believe it. That there's so many strikeouts and yet one walk. My God, that's amazing.
Well, it's why they were so against pushing him to a starting position, because he was such a dominant reliever for the Schaumburg team. But sometimes when duty calls, you have to do it.
Well, I tell you, if a guy throws strikes, he belongs in relief, not in starting. So I would have left him in relief. I think he'd be more valuable. But again, you're up here, I'm up here. The managers are down there.
Schaumburg has been hurt ever since they had Middendorf signed to a minor league deal. And ever since then, they've had this hole in their starting rotation that they've just been desperate to fill. And I guess Glickstein's the latest one to try to be the one to fill it.
Yeah, well, we all got to gamble.
The 1-0 sent out towards right and foul. Count evens up at 1-1. Of course, the whole landscape of this league changes in just a couple of weeks once the MLB draft takes place and the undrafted players start to look for places to play. Yeah, you never know what might happen.
Yeah.
A 1-1 to Ruiz, sent foul to the right side again and out of play.
Well, you know, in all honesty, as a man that scouted for many, many years, 50, 60 years, scouting, Eastern scouting director, whatever else, Major League Scout. But getting back to the territorial scout, generally got 2 or 3 states. There is no way that scout can cover every baseball team in that area, his area. Therefore, what I'm trying to say is there's many a prospect that goes unnoticed because you can't cover them.
2-2 count for Chris Ruiz. Ball is lifted high and shallow to right field. Armstrong dropping back. Now Baez calls him off, and he's the one who brings it in for out number 1. Well, that's good to see. Baez knew he had the better line on the ball and calls everyone off and is able to bring it in.
Yeah. His name is Otis. Amos Otis was the first. Now, you're a Kansas City man. You remember Amos. He was the first one that started catching one-handed. I don't know if you noticed that. Everything was one hand out there in the outfield. Of course, he was a pretty good ball player, Amos. And the Royals ought to be thankful I'm the one that traded for him. Otherwise, he'd been a New York Met. That's another story.
A 1-0 count misses, and it's a 2-0 now to Chase Dawson, one of the most electric players in this league. The 2-0. Crank towards right field. Baez chasing back towards the wall at the warning track and hauls it in for out number 2. I tell you what, the scouting reports on Schaumburg's billboard tonight must have said hit everything to right field. Every ball put in play has either been an Andy Armstrong at second or Jeffrey Baez in right field.
You're right, and let's give Baez credit on that one. He ran back looking over his, his left shoulder, and then he pivoted to look over his right shoulder and made the catch in that direction.
Well, I say that, and here a ball goes towards left center field. Gordon and Davis works over. It's Davis who brings it in for out number 3. Quick top of the third for Parker Brahms and the Otters. To the bottom half we go. Otters still trail by 1. To the bottom of the third we go, and returning to the mound is Glickstein alongside his whole defense, and took him a while to get out of the dugout. You and I noticed that there was discussion between him and the home plate umpire, but everything seems to be all right. We're ready to play baseball.
Yeah, I don't know what the discussion was, but you're right. And as we go into this bottom of the third, the Otters have yet to register their first hit.
They've yet to register a runner on in any
Well,
form.
that's true, too.
Anthony Torrelos will be the man that tries to fix that. Torrelos picked up his third home run of the season, his first at Bosse Field last night. Takes the ball one outside. So Torrelos looking at a 1-0 count. Pitch rides inside this time, and it's a called strike that evens the count. I talked with Andy McCauley, the manager of the Otters, a little bit today about where'd you guys find Anthony Torrelos? Like, where did he come out of nowhere from? And he sends one right back up in the middle and down for a base hit past the diving arm of Dawson. And he'll be responsible for hit number 1 for the Otters. And he said, you know what? I've got some friends back where I'm from there in Pennsylvania. They saw him at one of their camps that is for players trying to get themselves noticed. He said, hey, you might want to give this guy a try. And here he is taking the best of this opportunity to prove himself.
Yeah, Andy's from eastern Pennsylvania, around that Harrisburg, not Harrisburg, Bethlehem, eastern area. And his wife was a college coach, too.
First pitch to Justin Felix. There goes Torrelos towards second. Pitches on the wrong side of the base, and because of that, Torrelos is in with a stolen base.
Well, I'm glad I saw his running ability. That was the one thing I questioned, or I shouldn't say question. I should have inquired about, but
it's the one thing we wanted to know about his game.
Exactly. Thank you. That you're reading my mind.
I help put your thoughts into words sometimes.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. You're right, and I thank you for that.
That's Anthony Torrelos' first attempted stolen base and first successful stolen base of the season. 1-0 count now to Justin Felix. Hefty swing that bounces off the chest protector of Ruiz and back down the first base line a bit. Count evens up.
And let's be honest, you did call it. The catcher's throw was on the shortstop side, which gave Anthony the opportunity to slide in. If it was on the second base side, he would have slid into the tag. So when the breaks go your way, you got to be happy.
1-1 count for Justin Felix, the catcher. A half swing on a high inside pitch, and he was not able to hold his swing up in time.
Oh, they didn't call it?
He falls back 1-2 in the count.
Yeah. Yeah, he went a little too far.
The positive thing about Torrelos at second now is that with the legs he has, anything in the outfield should score him from second.
Yep. Well, look at that center fielder. My God, he's halfway downtown Evansville.
1 ball and 2 strikes for the catcher, Justin Felix. Last night, Felix was the only Otter who did not register a hit. So he's certainly due for one right now. The 1-2 must have been low.
Yeah, low. You look at an outfielder, we're talking about that center fielder. As an outfielder, of course, I'm not an outfielder, I'm an old catcher, but an outfielder, the deeper he plays is to his advantage because it's easier to come in than it is run back.
And if you're trying to throw a runner out at home, it gives you that momentum.
Exactly.
2-2 to Justin Felix. Big pitch here. And that one misses on the outside edge. That's a good pitch from Glickstein, trying to challenge Justin Felix. But the positive thing for Justin is he's one of the most patient batters on this entire Otters team. That's exactly why he has the third most walks on this team.
Really?
The 3-2 to the catcher, Justin Felix. Lifted high and foul to the right side. He'll live to see another pitch. Andy Armstrong stands on deck. I tell you what, Andy Armstrong, 3 multi-hit outings in his last 5 games. If there was ever a doubt of could Andy Armstrong swing the bat, he's proven it wrong.
Well, I'll
recently.
tell you what, he's a good infielder. He's got soft hands.
3-2 to Felix.
Ball four.
High, ball forward. It's just the second walk all season handed out by Aaron Glickstein.
That's a Deerhead Sidewalk Cafe and Bar.
And the funny thing is, we've got runners on first and second. There are no outs. And in my opinion, the best bunter on the team is now at the plate.
Well, and obviously, a man named William Solis has done some homework. He's starting with his toes on the infield grass. He's starting to go backwards, and now the first baseman, Davidson, is also playing forward.
Well, you want the third baseman to field it so that the runner on third can reach their safe. The runner on second.
Here is the
There
bunt
you
from
go.
Armstrong
That's
to the
it.
left side,
That's
picked
it.
up by Glickstein. The throw to first,
And
almost wide, but it is in time to get Andy Armstrong out. But on the positive side, doesn't count as an at-bat against you. It's a sacrifice that moves your guys forward.
what is so important is he's a team player by sacrificing time at bat to move the runners into scoring position. That was a good call by Andy. Now all we need is a little trickler through the infield from Andy or a fly ball at least 300 feet for the Otters to score and tie the game.
Miles Gordon had 3 hits last night. Looking for one right here that could really change this game up. He's the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game.
And this Klickstein, his curveball, well, first of all, he doesn't have good velocity. 86, 87 is his best fastball. And his
1-0 lifted towards dead center field.
That's deep
Chasing in
enough.
is Milazzo.
That's deep enough.
Gets underneath it. There will go Torrelas towards home, and they've caught Justin Felix. He gets back to second with great sliding. He slid, but he moved his body to the right side of the bag to stay out of the way of the tag.
Yeah.
That's a heads-up base running play by Justin Felix to keep himself safe there at second.
First baseman number 45, Zach.
So a sac fly RBI has tied the game at 1 run apiece. Miles Gordon doing the same thing Andy Armstrong did, sacrificing an at-bat to better the team.
Well, that's why you bunt the runners to second and third so you can get that sacrifice fly to tie the game. And like I say, good move by Andy.
Well, it just like that, the game's changed. You've taken a load off of Parker Brahms. Everyone feels a little bit better now.
Oh, yeah. You've changed the complex of the game. You're right.
And with 2 outs, you still got a runner in scoring position with an electric hitter at the plate.
Oh, yeah.
You could change it even further here. Long wait for Glickstein.
And he drilled that last time at bat. He drilled that ball.
The 0-1 sent back towards the netting, and Bierman's quickly down 0-2 in the count. Bierman had a routine night off last night. I went back and did some of the math through the last, 3 or 4 weeks of Bierman's game. He had pretty much played every single game in the last month for the Otters, so Andy McCauley decided to give the legs a rest for a night. Here he is back in the lineup. Otters obviously proved that other guys could hit the long ball last night as well. 0-2 stays high for ball 1.
Well, I don't believe in that getting a day off. When you're a little kid, you play baseball every day. You play 15 games in one night. And, there used to be an ad about some Italian. His mother was yelling out, Tony or something. He'd run home because of having macaroni. And I remember back in my youth, my mother and my father would see us off. My brother and I would probably leave about 10:30 in the morning. We'd go to a baseball field, wouldn't come home until 7 or 8 that night. We spent the entire day at the field, and we weren't the only ones. There might be 20, 30 other guys with us.
A 1-2 to Zach Bierman. Sent towards the second baseman again, and once again, Dawson answers the call. The throw to first is in time. And the inning ends, but not before the Otters can tie this game up after a sac bunt from Andy Armstrong and then a sac fly from Miles Gordon. We head to the 4th inning, tied at 1 run apiece. We head to the top of the fourth inning. Parker Brahms and the Otters return to the field of play now.
Go ahead, Bob.
Well, the Otters are sitting here tied at 1 run apiece, and Parker Brahms has found some success early, and more importantly, has worked around a couple of batters.
Yeah, Bob Botts for the people. Oh, there's a base
Hard hit right back up the middle. A base hit for Clint Hardy.
For our fans out there in Flow baseball world, Bob Botts is a former major league pitcher with the New York Mets and the California Angels. He was a reliever, made the big show. He was a reliever here in Evansville in 1956 championship team. And Bob, I got one question. Because you made the majors as a reliever, what does it take to be a reliever in the major leagues?
Well, it takes you got to be ready into the game now, and when they say warm up, you warm up fast because you might be in that ball game within 5 minutes. It's just
hard hit ball to deep right field, and it falls maybe 3 inches foul.
okay, but yeah, you got to have control, and you can't walk anybody. No doubt about it.
Well, you got to throw strikes. That's what you tell me. Bob?
Yeah.
We lose him? Bob?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry I can't hear you too much, but glad you're at good old Bossy Field, and Mr. Bunting, he's a good owner, and keep that baseball going, and good old Bill.
Okay, buddy. Thank you for your time. God bless. You were one of the best that we ever had here in Evansville, and you're one of my best friends, Bob Botts, former major leaguer, and my teammate.
Thanks, Phil, and hopefully the Otters are going to win tonight.
Thank you, buddy. God bless. Bye.
Counts even at 1-1 to Mike Hart. There's a runner on first and no outs. A half swing. Does not matter. Called strike 2. The big play missed just there was that deep drive to right field that landed just foul, and that saved probably a run off the board from Schaumburg. A 1-2 count to Mike Hart on the way. Swinging strike 3, and Parker Brahms has grabbed his second German-American bank strikeout of the game.
You know that gentleman we just listened to and was my teammate. He was one of the best relievers I ever saw. He was a spot pitcher. And you won't believe this. I mean, this is hard for anyone to believe, Matt, that I caught him back in 56, a few years ago, with the bases loaded and no outs, and he'd come out of the bullpen and strike out the side. He did that several times. A great, great pitcher.
Braxton Davidson at the plate now. We know he likes to swing that bat, and when he gets contact, he gets himself base hits. He's 1 for 1 already on the day. Starts off with a 0-1 count here. Next pitch stays outside. Count evens up at 1-1 with 1 on and 1 out. Defense is playing a bit skewed to the right side in the outfield, pretty much straight up in the infield at the double play positioning. 1-1's outside. Brahms falls behind in the count.
Well, a double play gets us out of this inning. You got to keep the ball low.
Brahms with his wide open stance right now will kick and deliver on the 2-1.
He's high.
And Brahms is definitely frustrated. Steps off, shakes his head a little bit, grabs the rosin bag for a second just to help reset the mind.
I like that. Reset the mind.
3-1 count. Brahms sends it home. And it stays inside for ball 4. There's runners at first and second now. That was a close pitch, but not close enough to win the favor of Brandon Spivak at the plate. That'll bring up the shortstop, Alec Craig. who singled in the second inning as well. Ended up with a stolen base before being stranded at third.
Shortstop, number 14, Alec Craig.
Well, we definitely need the double play now. Like I say, to get the double play, you need a ground ball. Therefore, you got to throw low pitches so that the bat hits the top of the ball and eventually is a ground ball.
First pitched out, Craig.
Yep.
Man,
Boy,
I'm really struggling to figure out where some of these pitches are missing. Maybe a bit low on that one.
I don't know. I was just about to say this guy is really squeezing that plate. He is making Parker really throw it down the middle.
1-0 count to Craig. There's runners on first and second and 1 out.
Now, see, there's
That
the same
one is
thing.
a called strike, and he waited to call it.
Right, and yet I'm going to say it was the same pitch as the one before.
Looked very close,
Yes.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike for the shortstop, Alec Craig. And time is called at the plate, and they'll reset. Well, we haven't seen much sun in the later parts of today. Some storms moving around our area, not in our area, but around the area. Kind of helped out. Huge jump to third. There will be no throw.
Oh, my God.
An enormous jump by Hardy. He was almost on third by the time that got home.
Well, he was nearly on third by the time the Parker threw the ball.
Yeah.
You're right. Felix had no play at all.
And it's good to see him decide to not throw that, because why risk overthrowing Torrelos?
Exactly. And plus, he had no play. Anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, why risk it? One, two. It's sent out towards center field. Gordon getting underneath it, brings it in for 1 out. The throw towards home is on the wrong side of home, and the run will score.
That stolen base now looks big.
Well, and it just proves that he was doing his homework. Knew if we can get a ball to certain individuals in the outfield, we might have a chance to get a man home, and they did indeed.
Yeah.
Number 11, William Sally.
So a sac fly RBI for Alec Craig has re-given the lead to the Boomers. Braxton Davidson is going to stay put at first. First pitch home, stays low and outside for ball 1.
That was a breaking curveball that didn't have that much bite to it. As you said, low and outside as well.
The 1-0 sent back towards the netting. Count evens up. Nice snag there from the catching coach and assistant coach Billy Easley.
Yeah, he just reached back and made a spectacular catch.
Absolutely. The 1-1.
Strike.
Called strike on the inside edge. Brahms probably relieved to get that one called.
Well, I was hesitant he was going to call it. You and I called it, but again, he's down there.
The 1-2 count to William Salas.
Strike 3.
Stays a bit too far inside. And the count will even up. The runner on first is Braxton Davidson after his walk. Schaumburg's already scored 1 run in the inning. The 2-2 again works inside, and the count's full.
Well, there's 2 outs, and I was talking before about this umpire was delayed. Now there's 2 outs, but if there was 1 out and that runner broke, if he doesn't call a strike, well, anyway.
The 3-2 sent out towards center. Gordon is trotting back a couple steps and brings it in for out number 3. Not before a sac fly RBI re-gives the Boomers the lead. We head to the bottom half of the 4th. Close, enjoyable game from Evansville. So we figured out what the change was. The pitcher changed jerseys.
Oh, from 33 to 30, or from
Yeah, he was
33
originally
to
wearing
30.
33, and now he's wearing 30,
Right.
which
That's
is the jersey number of Blake Seltzer, but not tonight.
okay. I know the umpire had met with both managers, and I was wondering what. I knew it had to be a change.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what it was exactly, and finally
Okay.
we caught it. First pitch to Davis. Stays high and inside for ball one.
Well, you got your investigative knowledge.
I used our press box staff who was on top of it.
That Gordon Fisher or Preston Meinenbach.
This one was Preston.
Oh, Preston.
Ball sent foul to the right side, evens the count up at 1-1 for J.R. Davis. Otters only have one base hit in the game, but they linked that with a walk to work themselves into a scoring situation and grab the lead. Or at least the tie at the time. The 1-1. Nice play from Craig over to first in time. And it's a pretty routine 6-3 putout.
Designated hitter number 21, Stephen Sinsley.
That'll bring up Steven Sinsley, who lined out to the shortstop his first time up, a loosely hit ball and a cracked bat.
We've seen quite a few cracked bats this year, but not completely cracked. One half in his hand and the other half out in the field.
First pitch to him, hefty swing, swinging strike one. Ready on the bump is Glickstein as he fires the 0-1 home. Swinging strike two for Sinsley.
That was a pretty good pitch. Low inside, round the knees. That's a golfer swing that you need to hit that.
Yeah, Sinsley just swing right over the top of it.
Right.
The 0-2. That is a very good pitch. A lot of guys are going to chase that.
And I was afraid the umpire was going to call it, too. I tell you what, I don't have faith in this guy behind the plate. I don't know him. And
1-2 pushed out to shallow left, and staying put his Hart or bringing it in for out number two. And yeah, you're right. We've seen it's been a tale of two separate half innings. In the very early parts of the game, Parker Brahms was getting the outside edge called. Then suddenly the next inning, he didn't have that pitch working for him, and he allowed a couple of base hits because he basically had to put it right down the middle. So looking to see here in the next inning or two if it can start to even out a little for Brandon Spivak at the plate. Jeffrey Baez standing in now, 0 for 1 with a ground out that was sent bouncing back up the middle. Sharply hit to the left side, backhanded by Solis. The throw to first in time for out number 3. Very quick out there as we head to the 5th inning. Otters trail by 1 here to Schaumburg. Great game coming at you here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. To the top of the 5th inning we go. Otters still unable to get the offense going, and Schaumburg's taken advantage of that, grabbed an extra run, and they currently lead 2-1.
Well, right now it's still it's called what, the little league baseball, whatever it is, just bunting and slapping at the ball, whatever. No power, no fence busters.
First pitch stays high for Parker Brahms. He's looking at a 1-0 count to Brett Milazzo. That ball is sent foul to the left side and count evens up. And this is the first time that we've seen we've seen Brahms not been able to immediately get the strikeout working and use that to work through his game. And that's
true.
been because the home plate umpires had a couple of differences in his strike zone in a couple of different innings. But Brahms has worked well to adapt quickly. A pop-up to the left side. Khalil makes the trip all the way over there and brings it in for out number 1.
Yeah, that was kind of dangerous there. I would have let JR had that. It looked like JR had a better look at the ball rather than George, who was turning his back. But
I guess whoever on the field thought they had the best play.
Well, whoever's in charge, that's what happens. I got it. Get away. I got it. So if you're the teammate, you get out of the way.
First pitch to Chris Ruiz, who is catching tonight. On the way.
Oh, there's a curveball.
Man, big curveball fell in for a called strike 1.
And that's one of the few that he's really broke over that plate tonight. He's mostly, Parker's been mostly fastballs.
Well, he fooled him there. The 0-1.
Here's the curveball again.
Threw another one, and it stayed a bit high. Count evens up.
Yeah.
Ruiz flied out to the right side his last time up. A little bit of a wait before the 1-1 pitch. Brahms has himself ready, and the 1-1 comes home. Lifted high and foul to the right side, out of play.
If you notice, Matthew, and again, just a little point, and this batter here just made a point for me. When you reach for that outside pitch like that, your bat is slow.
And just like that, he finds himself guilty of a strikeout as he was down in the count, swung through, and it's the 3rd German American Bank strikeout from Parker Brahms.
What I was trying to say was, when you're swinging with your arms only, there's no power. And generally it's a pop fly, whatever.
Unless you're Jeffrey Baez, a lot of time you get blooping singles because you've got so much power in those arms.
Oh, that is true.
Chase Dawson, the leadoff man for the Boomers, who is currently 0 for 2 in the game, looking for something to start his day off.
I think that was Parker's breaking pitch, but it didn't break. You're right. I think Parker has been affected by the umpire's calls. That he's been around the plate, but 1 minute it's a strike and the next minute it's a ball. And so if you follow up with another fine pitch, you don't know what the umpire's going to call.
But luckily for him, in the 5th inning, he's only at 61 pitches. That quick 1st and 3rd innings have kept his pitch count nice and low. Pitch high and outside has walked a man. It's the 2nd walk allowed by Parker this evening. With 2 outs, there's a runner on first. And the Frontier League's best hitter, designated hitter Matt Botcher, makes his way to the plate. Enters the game with a staggering .412 average. It's one thing to hit .412 when you've played in 10 games. It's another when you have played in now 36 games and you're still batting .412.
I'll agree with you. As a former player, I don't know the last time I ever hit 400.
Another throw over to first. It gets passed towards the bullpen. Bierman's not there yet, and he's going to round all the way to 3rd, standing up. That pitch got to the bullpen and then just stuck under there.
Who got the error, the pitcher or the first baseman?
And Brahms is frustrated up there on the mound now.
The pitcher.
After
Pitcher got the error.
two-out error
Okay.
on Parker Brahms.
That could be painful.
Ball is launched towards left center field. Davis running back towards the wall at the warning track and brings it in for out number 3. The 2-out error will not come back to haunt the Otters. And we head to the bottom half of the 5th. We're halfway through this game. Exactly where we want to be. A close game. Nice atmosphere here at Bosse Field. Don't go anywhere. Bottom of the 5th coming at you next. To the bottom half of the 5th we go, and returning to the mound is Aaron Glickstein. Certainly looks like a starter in this game. He's only allowed 1 run on 1 hit. Got to be happy with that.
I know if I was he, I'd certainly be happy.
Giving up 2 base runners, 1 scored, 1 was left on base.
I mean, when you're pitching against the Otters offense and you're doing this well this late, you're accomplishing something special.
But it was the 5th inning that the Otters blew open last night. See what they can do here. Starting with George Khalil. Beautiful butt down the left field line. Misplayed by Salas. There would have been a close play anyway. It's an infield bunt single for George Khalil to kick off the 5th inning.
Now, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I am. How many times have I been preaching if that third baseman's way back? And if you practice that drag bunt, you got yourself a base hit.
Well, and George Khalil put that one down perfectly.
Perfect, yes.
It hit the grass for the first time and just plain died.
Right. And if you notice, the third baseman came in strong, but like so many third basemen, you reach down to get the ball, but you can't find it.
Anthony Torrelas is ready at the plate with no outs and one runner on here in the 5th inning. They're going to go check on Khalil. He's back in plenty of time.
Yeah. You know, if a runner on first comes back with his feet on that base, he hasn't got a good lead. He's got to dive back to have a good lead.
First pitch to Torrelas.
That's a strike.
Misses outside, a very close pitch.
I'll tell you what, well, like us all, we all have good days and bad days. This umpire, to me, is having a bad day.
The 1-0 to Torrelas. Zoom to the left side, through for a base hit. Sounded like he might have cracked the bat as well. Regardless, he got himself on base. There's runners on first and second.
That's Anthony's second hit. And you called him when he first came here. You said, what a player he is. Boy, you got good judgment.
I tell you what, it's the defense that brings you to the ballpark for him, and it's the strong batting that makes you stay.
Okay, now we've got Felix, the batter. The last time we had this situation, we had Armstrong at the plate, and he laid a perfect bunt down, laid to move the runners up, and that's why we've got that 1 run. Now let's see if Felix is going to swing or is he going to bunt?
Felix earned just the second walk of the year issued by Glickstein in his first time up, and he's hit by a pitch.
That is a break.
That one came at him in a hurry and goes off the left shoulder. The bases are now loaded with no outs.
So you don't need to bunt. And even if the double play, we could score. Now, this is a situation we had last night, and Bias got to the plate. And did he bury that ball?
Absolutely. Well, now it's going to be time to start keeping glances down towards the left field bullpen. With a starter tonight that is usually a bullpen arm, this is about the time you'd expect him to maybe get replaced in a game.
Yeah.
Andy Armstrong at the plate now, bases loaded, no outs. See what he tries to do here. He's got multi-hit outings in 3 of his last 5 games.
Well, I'll tell you, Andy, I'm rooting for you.
Love to see him barrel the bat here. First pitch, big curveball, stays low.
Look, that was a good breaking pitch, only a little too short, but it had a good bite to it.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of batters who are going to chase that pitch.
You ain't kidding.
A 1-0 for Andy Armstrong. Stays outside, ball 2.
Yeah.
Yet the first baseman, Davidson, is very strictly keeping himself close for the squeeze bunt. The 2-0. Armstrong pushes it foul to the right side.
I don't think I've seen a squeeze bunt in the last 10 years. I'll be honest. That is one heck of a play, the squeeze bunt.
A 2-1 now for Armstrong. Barreled out towards right field, right at Hardy. He'll bring it in for 1 out. Both runners are going to advance.
Yeah.
And just like that, the Otters have tied the game. Small ball winning the day today. And the game is tied at 2 runs apiece.
And did you see Hardy misplayed that because he had to back up and there was no way that he could catch that on the run and throw the runners out. He was backing up. He misjudged it, I think, or maybe we don't know the angle it was coming off the bat sitting up here. But whatever it was, Andy came through.
Well, I tell you what, Armstrong has now one of the he has a selfless line. It is only 2 appearances, a sac bunt and a sac fly RBI.
Right.
That's a team player.
Yep. Without him, there wouldn't be any runs.
And the Evansville Otters, Edward Jones, leadoff hitter of the game. Miles Gordon at the plate now. Sac fly RBI to his name as well in the game. He's got runners on first and third, and another chance for a sac fly RBI here.
Yeah.
Pitch stays high for ball 1. He's ahead in the count.
And nobody's warming up in the Crushers bullpen.
Yeah, not right now at least. They sent a couple of guys down there, but
well, if you've got the best reliever on your team now, a starter, why do you want to take him out?
I guess his job has been all year get out of jams.
Right.
So see what he can do with a 1 out, runners on the corner situation. 1-0 to Gordon. Stays high and outside. Ball 2. Otters and Boomers will conclude their 3-game set tomorrow, and it's the last time the 2 face each other at Valsey Field all season long. That is tomorrow night, 6:35 first pitch. Thirsty Thursday. Would love to have you out here at the ballpark. Get a ticket right now at EvansvilleOtters.com. 2-0 to Gordon. Stays high and outside. And if you can't join us in person, join us here on Flow Sports and the Evansville Otters Digital Network. Bill and I will walk you through every pitch, as we always do. 1 out, runners on the corners, a 3-0 count to Miles Gordon.
Don't swing. Good.
Pitch stays outside, and the bases are loaded after a walk.
Good.
Sidewalk Cafe and Bar.
Now, you said he had only given up 1 walk prior to tonight. And so far, that's his, second walk? And
yeah.
here comes the manager.
Yeah, probably extremely frustrating for Glickstein because in the first 4 innings, he was really good.
Oh, I'd say,
he managed the game very well, had only allowed 2 total base runners, and now, well, things have kind of gotten away from him.
Well, let's go back to your original statement. He was a reliever. He probably threw 2, maybe 3 innings at the most. So tonight, yes, he was very effective the first 3 innings because that was his normal forte. Now he's going 4 or 5 innings. Maybe he never did that before.
You can tell that the sweat is affecting these ball players tonight because every single infielder before they left the mound passed around the rosin bag to try to dry off their hands.
Oh. You know, I was a catcher and I used to perspire quite fluently, and I didn't have a rosin bag at home plate. I had the dirt. I'd pick up the dirt and pat the dirt on my arms, and that would absorb the sweat. But then again, when I took a shower, the water was brownish.
0-1 to Bierman, and the curveball stays high to even the count. Yeah, you mentioned that he's probably used to pitching very small outings.
Right.
His longest one was 3 all year long until his last 2 outings, which have both been starts. He went 5 innings in one, 5 2/3 in the next, and here he is trying to get through a 5th inning here.
Right. So again, this is as long as he's pitched.
Absolutely.
So he probably threw maybe 25 pitches at the most prior to this, and now he's pitching. Oh, wait a minute. Where's that at?
It's right above the third baseman, Craig, who will bring it in for out number 2. Nobody's going to be able to advance on Bierman's pop out.
Well, the umpire signaled and the umpire on the field both signaled infield fly. Now you can run on an infield fly, but at your own discretion and peril.
The game is evened up at 2 runs apiece. It's been small ball tonight. Otters scored both their runs on sac flies. As for the Boomers, they scored one on an RBI single, the other on a sac fly. If you love small ball baseball, this is the game for you. J.R. Davis now in, and a ball outside starts off his count at 1-0.
I thought that was a strike
again. I thought so too.
Sitting up here, we get a misjudgment.
Counts at 1-0 to J.R. Davis. Runners on second and third and 2 outs. Way inside. That one's surely a ball. 2-0 counts. I want to start walking you through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard as well as we move through this inning. Tri-City defeated Quebec 7-6 in Game 1 of their doubleheader. Quebec currently leads 2-0 in Game 2. 2-0 is fouled back towards Ruiz, and Davis looking at a 2-1. In the bottom of the 8th, the Windy City Thunderbolts currently have a 4-3 lead on the road at Washington. Boy, would that help out the Otters a little bit.
Well, I would say.
In the bottom of the 8th, the New Jersey Jackals up at Ottawa have a 6-2 lead. And in the bottom of the 5th, the Lake Erie Crushers are up 10-6 on the road at Florence. What a day to be a road team.
How's my team doing? I didn't hear you say it.
Looks like we're almost there. Sussex County up 4-2 at New York. Empire State currently tied at 4 runs apiece in the bottom of the 4th at Trois Rivières.
They got a chance.
In the top of the 4th, Gateway is currently leading Joliet 3-0. If Gateway gets that win, they would win the series. That would be a big series win for Gateway after a tough weekend against the Otters.
How many baseball players on a 2-0, a 3-0, a 3-1 all believe the pitcher is going to throw a fastball down the middle and they're swinging before the pitcher throws the ball?
3-2. Pushed out towards left field. Hart thinks he's underneath it, and indeed he is. For out number 3, Otters are going to leave the bases loaded, but they do bring a run in on the sacrifice fly, and we're once again tied, this time at 2 runs apiece. We head to the 6th inning right after this. To the top of the 6th inning we go. Parker Brahms and the Otters return to the defensive side of things. Brahms just has 3 strikeouts in the game, but his defense has helped him get out of some jams. He's helped himself get out of some jams,
Yep.
and we're sitting here at a 2-2 ball game. This is the type of game I expected when I saw these 2 teams on the schedule this week, both riding 7-game winning streaks entering the series, and this is what you expect out of 2 clubs like this.
Yes.
1-0 stays outside.
Well, they're fighting for a playoff spot. Even though it's early in the season, you don't lay the foundation now. You won't have the house come playoff time.
2-0 is skied high. It's going to get back behind home plate and out of play. And the Boomers entered the game with a 4.27 ERA as a pitching staff. That's not bad at all. The Otters are one of the top 2 with their ERA of 3.60. The Otters are one of 2 sub 4.0 ERAs in the entire league, and Parker Brahms has helped leading the way.
Okay.
2-1 skied out towards center field. Gordon chasing back towards the warning track and brings it in as he approaches the track. That's out number 1 of the half inning.
Left fielder number 22, Mike Hart.
We talk about pitchers and strikeouts and all. Okay, Hardy just hit that ball at least 370, 380 feet, but it was an out. So what good was it? That's the job of the pitcher. Throw it, let them hit it, and let the other guys make the big play.
Ball sent high and deep towards left field, mid-deep now, and it's brought in by J.R. Davis pretty simply. Another quick out for out number 2.
First baseman number 19, Braxton
Couple of,
Davidson.
1-2 pitch outs right there for
Yes.
Brahms, and he's at 71 pitches with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Well, you've heard me all year, and I'll preach it all year. I'm not a fan of that number of pitches that a pitcher can throw. I don't care if he throws 150. If it can win the game for me, he's staying out there.
First pitch to Braxton Davidson is ball 1 low and inside. Well, and Parker Brahms has proved on multiple occasions this year that the pitch count doesn't mean too much to him. He averages over 100 pitches a game, has a couple outings of 115 plus.
Well, good. Did he win the games?
Yeah.
Well, so it paid off to keep him in the game.
And in the loss he had, he only gave up 2 runs on 4 hits in 7 innings and
that's pretty good.
threw 103 pitches.
Yep.
Yeah, he was good even in his loss.
Yeah.
The 2-0 to Davidson.
Ooh.
Oh, he doesn't get the called strike. Big curveball landed high and inside. Oh, that was close.
I'd say if I was the umpire, I would have said strike 1. But
instead, it's a 3-0 count to Braxton Davidson. Heavy swing for him on a pitch that was outside the zone.
in my entire life of baseball, on a 3-0 count, I have not seen many players get base hits or home runs. It's just an inviting pitch.
3-1 stays low for ball 4. Davidson's going to reach first. The second time today on a walk, third time overall.
Yeah, he's been on base hit and 2 walks now for Davidson.
That'll bring up the shortstop, Alec Craig. And that's now back-to-back half innings that the Boomers have got a man on with 2 outs. They start off with 2 outs, then get a man on, but unfortunately they don't give themselves enough time to bring him home. That's what plagued the Otters on their 1-5 road trip a couple weeks ago. Getting men on with 2 outs and then not having any time to do anything with them.
Yeah, get a fly ball, but it's 3 outs.
Runner going towards second. The throw back goes off the umpire as Brahms misthrows. And the runner's going to reach.
Here comes Andy. What's the call?
Yeah, and now I think Andy's going to go say that the umpire was in the way of play. I fully expect that's what it is.
I'll agree with you because if he wasn't there, I think the runner was going to be out.
And I know that nothing's going to change, but I understand the argument there for McCauley. He has a case.
He has a case, but the umpire has a case too. He couldn't foresee where the ball's going to be. He's getting himself in it. He's got to be in a position to call the play.
Very true. Yes.
And therefore, unfortunately, he was in the wrong position.
Well, and if you notice, the first thing that the umpire did out there, which is Matt Beaver out there at second, he asked for the ball right away and checked it to see if it was sticky because he thought that's why Brahms missed through it because he was looking for something, I think.
Oh, okay.
He asked for the ball and immediately looked at it before he would throw it back to Brahms.
Okay.
Regardless, it's now a 1-0 to Craig. Stays low for ball 2.
What I thought you were going to say was he immediately threw his hands up saying dead ball because once it hit him, the ball was dead.
Well, he did do that, and then that's when he asked Armstrong to throw him the ball instead of throw it to Brahms, and that's when he took a look at things.
Yeah.
Of course, he could have been looking for anything. Regardless, it's a 2-0 count. Runner at second, 2 outs. Ball's fouled back towards the netting, and now it's back-to-back half innings, in fact, that a throw from Brahms on a runner trying to go somewhere has resulted in an extra base.
You're right. That one on the pickoff at first base, You're right. So the moral of the story is don't throw to the bases. Throw to the batter.
Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Right.
Brahms still well in control of this game. 2 runs on 4 hits and nearly 6 innings of work. The 2-1 stays low for ball 3. That's a good opportunity for Brahms to do exactly what he just did there. Take an extra couple of steps before getting back on the bump, reset the mind a little.
That's all you need sometimes. Reshuffle.
A 3-1 towards Alec Craig. Skied high and foul to the left side, and Brahms has got himself in a position in the inning.
If you notice this batter now on the 2 last foul balls, his weight is all on his back foot. So don't give him any off-speed pitch. Fastballs.
Sneak it by him and get it done. The 3-2 stays high, ball 4. There's runners on first and second. Now, most importantly right here, there's force outs at all 3 bases. You have 2 outs. Focus on the guy at home here.
Exactly. The runners on base 99 times cannot advance unless the batter gives them the opportunity.
William Salas at the plate, a .259 average entering the week. So far in the game, he's 1 for 2 with an RBI single. First pitch to him. Stays high, ball 1.
That was that breaking pitch or off speed, whatever. Even though it was 87, it didn't look like it had much velocity. Looked like it died. Change.
1-0 count. Brahms sends it home. Way high and inside for ball 2. I'm just now realizing, and I'm surprised to see, Schaumburg didn't warm anybody up in that half inning.
No, they didn't.
So they must be wanting to stick with Aaron Glickstein.
Yes, I looked down there, and when we were talking, and I didn't see anybody, and I thought the same as you.
I almost kind of expected someone to be warming up.
So did I.
The 2-0 to William Salas. Big curveball falls in for called strike. When he's picked that out, it has worked really well.
Yeah. But going back to what you said earlier, a pitcher warming up doesn't mean he's going into the game. All he is telling you is, I'm warmed up in case you need me.
The 2-1 sent foul to the right side.
That was the same pitch as the one before, the curveball.
Game is tied at 2 runs apiece here in the top of the 6th inning. Brahms trying to get himself out of a 2-ball, 2-strike, 2-out count to William Solis with runners on first and second. He's kind of getting hurt with 2 outs in the last couple innings. The 2-2. Oh, challenging pitch there that was laid off by Solis. That's another one that you will see a lot of hitters in this league chase after.
Yeah.
Count is now full for William Solis. 2 outs, runners on first and second. And these last couple of batters have worked the pitch count out of Brahms up rather quickly. The 3-2. Runners moving. Ball skied high and foul. It's out of play.
It was a 3-2 count. There's 2 outs. And the runner on third did not run. I don't know if you noticed that. Either he's asleep or he doesn't know what the game is about.
I just don't think he realized the count.
Can't be in that game unless your mind is on the game.
The 3-2 to Solis with 2 outs and 2 on. High inside, the bases are loaded.
Okay, now Felix, go out there and just have a little, just go out and say, Parker, we'll get him. Don't worry. You're too good. We'll get him out.
Max is going to be the one to come out and have the words.
Okay.
After getting 2 quick outs, it's back-to-back-to-back walks that have loaded the bases.
Yeah, I noticed Felix looked into the dugout asking for help.
Yeah. When you hope that the pitching coach, Max Peterson, has the right words here, and that might be what Felix is saying is, hey, coach, you've got the better words than I do in this scenario.
Yep.
And yet again, we see the entire infield passing around the rosin bag.
If I was the catcher, I would have probably gone out and say, hey, Parker, buddy, you're a proven major leaguer. You can get this guy out. Let's go. Let's not play games. Let's go. And just run back to my catching position. And what you're doing is making him feel good that, we giving him a positive thoughts.
Bases loaded. There's an out at every play. Any out ends the inning. Ground out, fly out. Doesn't matter how you get it. Just grab one.
Yeah, but you can't remind him that the bases are loaded. That might upset him. Just concentrate on you can get him out. That's it.
First trip to Milazzo. Sent high and maybe foul to the left side. Torrellas chasing towards it. And it's Khalil that brings it in.
Did he make it? Yes.
What a run from George Khalil to track it down and bring it in for out number 3.
I'll tell you what.
I wish our stat tracking software would track how far he tracked that ball down.
I'll tell you what, Matthew, if I didn't know any better, I'd register him now in the Kentucky Derby. My God, I think he outraced some of those horses.
Otters find their way to get that third out, and we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Still tied at 2 runs apiece on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. To the bottom of the 6th inning, we go to. Now we see an arm hop up for Schaumburg in the bullpen, kind of as expected, as Aaron Glickstein returns to the mound. Want to run you through Aaron Glickstein's day thus far. He's allowed 2 runs on 3 hits in 5 innings. Only 1 strikeout, but he's walked a couple, and more importantly, he's made more than half of his pitches strikes.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, people who paid to see this ball game are certainly getting their money's worth. My God, this is a exciting ball game.
Well, and it's exciting to those of us who like the pitcher's duel and the small ball.
Yeah.
If you're one of the lovers of home runs, this just isn't the game for you.
Well, that's true. That is true. We're little leaguers.
Yeah.
That's what we are, little leaguers.
Back-to-back called strikes for Steven Sinsley. Has him back in an 0-2 count for the 3rd straight at-bat. He lined out to short and flew out to left his first 2 times. 0-2 stays outside. Seems that a lot of pitchers are worried about taking the ball too far inside on Steven Sinsley, and rightfully so. And a 1-2, high in the zone, gets swung on and missed by Sinsley. For out number 1. That's the 2nd strikeout of the day for Aaron Glickstein.
Well, I don't know why any pitcher should hesitate to throw inside on any batter. If that's the inside corner of the plate, you're entitled to it as a pitcher. If the batter is overlapping with his hands and his arms and he gets hit, that's tough luck.
Jeffrey Baez to the plate now with no one on and 1 out. He's 0 for 2 thus far in the game. Starts with a swinging strike 1.
Plus, when you pitch inside, you're denying that batter the chance to extend his arms, so his elbows are locked into his body. You took his power away.
0-1, misses low and away. The count evens up for Jeffrey Baez.
So the advantage is throw inside.
1 ball, 1 strike. Baez fouls it off his foot, falls back in the count 1-2.
He was way out in front on that, if you notice. When Baez shifts his weight forward, he destroys baseballs.
One ball, 2 strikes for Baez. Hefty swinging strike 3 on a high pitch. Sits him down, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for Aaron Glickstein.
Well, everything, I tell you what, here comes the man of the hour, Crocodile George. What a outstanding play. Boy, he saved the Otters the game right then.
Yeah, it could have been multiple runs had that inning extended.
Oh, you ain't kidding. But, I mean, he must have covered, I'm estimating, from his position, let's see, that'll be 100. I'm going to say at least 250, 270 feet to make that catch.
Khalil scored on the sac fly RBI from Andy Armstrong in that 5th inning. He's looking at a 1-1 count now. Khalil has proven that if he can get a good stride in and work that bat evenly across the zone, swinging at a pitch, he can launch that ball out of a ballpark.
Yep. See where the catcher's looking for the outside?
1-1, he pushes it towards the right side. Hardy chasing back towards the wall. Leaping, did he make the catch?
Yes.
It's a home run!
Oh, it's a homer. You just called it.
George Khalil has his first home run inside the confines of historic Bosse Field. And that one is a go-ahead home run.
You actually called it when you said that. And I tell you what, when I saw that umpire put his hand up, I thought he was indicating it was a catch.
When at first he punched the air.
That's what I thought.
I thought, wow, what a play out there.
Yeah, same here. Good old Crocodile George. Not only makes an outstanding defensive play, oh boy, I tell you what, Parker should take him out for dinner after the game.
Well, he was probably the first one there, high-fiving, saying thank you in there. for Khalil. It's the 5th home run of the year. Like I mentioned, first one within the confines of historic Bosse Field. It's his 2nd solo home run. The 0-1 to Torrelas. Bounces in, even
And
count up.
And Anthony's got 2 hits already. Oh, boy. Both teams got 4 hits.
1-1 to Torrelas. That one sent high and very shallow to right field. Dropping back is Dawson, and he's the one who brings it in for out number 3. Not before George Khalil sends one to the Corona patio deck. A solo home run has given the Otters a 3-2 lead as we head to the 7th inning. What a night of baseball we've got here. Don't go anywhere. We're coming at you next. And we head to the back third of this game. Otters have, like they've done so many times this year, found a home run to bring them back into a game in the later parts of it. And it's none other than the shortstop himself, George Khalil, his 3rd home run in a week. I don't know what he changed with the way he's prepping for games, but he better not change it now.
You're right.
Maybe it's a different way he's driven to the ballpark. Whatever it is, don't change it now.
You know, I remember my first year in pro baseball. I used to have a milkshake every day, and it seemed I know it was a psychological thing.
0-1 for Chris Ruiz. Pitch on the way home. Swinging strike 2. Yeah, for those of our listeners who are local people or know more about the University of Southern Indiana, Stan Gerard, the head basketball coach there, the men's coach, after a rough stretch in early January, the team went on a 5 or 7 game winning streak. He said, well, I used to drink water before every single game, only water. I drank a Mountain Dew, and we went on a winning streak, so I'm not changing it now.
Right. Drink that
It's
Mountain
different
Dew.
for everybody.
Yep.
0-2 for Reeves. Swinging strike 3, a 3-pitch strikeout for Parker Brahms. That is good for his 4th German-American Bank strikeout of the game.
You don't need to strike everyone out. Just a couple in crucial situations, but let those other 8 guys do their share.
Well, when you're 90 pitches into a game and a couple of runs allowed into a game, and you step up and do that to lead off the 7th inning, that's positive.
We're in the 7th inning. It's unbelievable. This game has been moving so fast.
Well, it's really just been the starting pitchers working through guys well.
That's right. And I don't know. I mean, both pitchers, they got 80 pitches at the most, both pitchers?
Parker Brahms just passed 90, but Chase Dawson is just right at 80.
Wow. So there's the difference. Not a lot of balls,
And
ball 3, ball 4.
If Brahms doesn't walk those last 2 guys in that last half inning, he's at 80 as well. So a couple of batters difference is all this game is. 1-1 to Chase Dawson. Pushed out towards left field. Running after it is J.R. Davis. Down for a base hit. Davis picks it up, and it's a stand-up double.
It's a double.
For the Frontier League's Triple King.
I watched
Designated hitter, number
JR, the
20.
way he was running. I had a feeling he wouldn't catch up to it because that ball kept running away. I shouldn't say glancing, but running away.
Well, and he made the play to run to where the ball was going to fall off the wall and not run to where the ball was going to land.
Exactly. And held them to a double. Otherwise, it could have been a triple. And you said he's the league leader.
If he has one more, he's tied the league's single season record.
He's got half a season to go to break it.
Well, the Otters are getting a man up and just tossing right now. It is Jacob Bowles down there, just starting to throw back and forth with bullpen catcher Brody Tanksley. Oh, 1 is the count for Matt Botcher, who holds the Frontier League's top batting average.
Oh, that I was going to say that was a strike. He was a little slow on calling that one.
Yeah, attack the inside edge, and Brahms has another 0-2 count.
Now, I'd come back with the identical pitch. Inside.
0-2 is the count for Matt Botcher. 1 out, runner on second. Otters now lead by 1 run. Pitch headed home.
There it is.
Ooh, just missed. Maybe high, maybe inside. Regardless, it's a 1-2 count.
I thought it was identical, and anyway, that was the right area to throw. You're right.
1-2 count for Matt Botcher. Pitch on the way. Sent towards Khalil at short. He plays it into the chest, and the throw over's in time. Matt Botcher is now 0 for 8 in this series. That 412 batting average, at the end of the day, the stats don't mean everything, and the Otters have had his number.
Oh, let's hope he leaves Otterville with maybe a 389 batting average. It's still pretty good, but at 400.
Well, the runner did advance there on the fielder's choice. So Dawson stands on third with the right fielder Clint Hardy at the plate. He's already got 1 base hit on the day. Skies this one towards the right side. Bierman running towards it in foul territory. It's now Felix who slides and makes the catch. Oh, goodness.
Is he okay? I can't see.
Yeah, he's all good. He called everybody off, went sliding in front of everyone. And the Otters get out of the inning. We head to the bottom half of the 7th. Otters still lead by 1. Defense starting to make its presence known once again at Bosse Field. Get up and stretch wherever you're listening from. Time for the 7th inning stretch. And as we head to the bottom of the 7th, a new pitcher for Schaumburg. They're going to call upon Christian Scott, the righty, out of Pasadena, California. And this call to the bullpen is presented by Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. It's Christian Scott on the mound, and it's Chris Ruiz behind the plate. The pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Let them know that Justin Felix sent you. What a play to end the inning. Bierman was going to be late to the play anyway. Then Felix calls everyone off. They jump out of the way, and he comes sliding in to make the grab. Could have saved the Otters a run.
Yeah, I'm glad. I missed it because it was out of my area, but I'm happy there was no collision. That's the thing I always worry about when you get two or three ball players converging on one fly ball. You never know because every one of them yelling, "I got it! I got it!"
Well, Justin Felix will kick off this half inning. Impressed with the day from Justin Felix thus far. A walk and a hit by pitch. Those are quality at bats. So I guess technically they don't count as at bats. First pitch we're going to be seeing from Christian Scott. The Otters saw him when they played at Schaumburg a few weeks ago. First pitch home is a sure thing called strike one. 89 mile an hour, but it looked quicker than that.
Well, you're talking about a quality start. At bat. How about the guy that hits the ball to second base with the runner on second? He moves him over into scoring position with no outs or one out. And the general manager of the major league club makes notes of that, and come contract time, they'll say, you were a team player. Instead of that 20,000 you're asking for, we're going to give you 40. I know my brother used to do that when he was general manager of the Padres. Anybody that sacrificed themselves to move the runner over, he kept records, and they got double whatever they asked for. He gave them double.
And sacrifice flies, sacrifice bunts, those don't count against your average.
Exactly.
But that was a fielder's choice that moved the runner. That one counts against your average, but it does not count against your opinion in that locker room. Yep. I mean, you're still, hey, that's the guy who gave up a piece of his batting average to make sure we could get a guy in scoring position.
Exactly.
1-2 to Justin Felix on the way. Swinging strike three, but it was foul tipped and fell out of the glove, and now they're saying it was not foul tipped. It's a swinging strike three. Felix will sit down with a strikeout.
Well, when it comes to recognizing those little things, it's the general manager of the team that sees those things, and he's the one that decides what you're going to get next year, whether you get a $5,000 raise, a $20,000 raise, or no raise.
Andy Armstrong, the 9-hole hitter, at the plate now. Pushes one towards right. Hardy doesn't have to move too much back, and it's out number one. Armstrong falls to 0-1 on the day after back-to-back sacrifice at-bats earlier in the game.
Well, Andy was the big hero there earlier in the season, in the game when he had that perfect bunt that moved the runners over, and the runner scored. That was the first run. Then he got the second run with the RBI. So, Andy, there we're talking about giving your best for your team. He didn't get a base hit, but he certainly contributed.
I tell you what, if there's a runner on third, that scores him. That kind of fly ball there.
Exactly.
Well, there's 2 outs, nobody on, and the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Miles Gordon, at the plate. He is 0 for 1 with a line out to sac fly RBI and a walk. First pitch is outside for ball one.
I wish they'd get that all-star ballots out so we could find out who had made it, and we could publicize it, because, we're cheering for some of the other players.
Yeah, the game is 2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah.
1-0, sent shopping to the right side. Dawson brings it in after one big bounce. Over to first and plenty of time for out number 3. That takes us to the 8th inning. Otters still holding on to a 1-run advantage here from Bosse Field. Quick innings coming at you here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. To the top of the 8th inning we go. Augie Gallardo is going to get the call from the bullpen out there in right field. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. It's Gallardo on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. The final line for Parker Brahms. He gives up 2 runs, just one of them earned, on 5 hits in 7 complete innings. He walked 5, struck out 4, but the defense helped him out quite a few times. He threw right at 100 pitches, giving up, 59 of the 100 were strikes, and at the end of the day, it was a solid outing for him. So now Gallardo
Well, George making that outstanding catch over there in third base. That was really important. And then you had Felix. You're right. Parker was lucky he had 2 great defensive plays.
First pitch stays outside for ball 1 to Mike Hart, who is 0 for 3 in the game, a couple of strikeouts, and a fly out to left field. One 0 on the way to Hart. That one misses low. It's a 2-0 count. Gallardo has one of the hardest biting sliders you will ever see. It's got a rotations per minute of about 3,500, which ranks higher than a lot of guys in the MLB. His downfall to it is there are times he can't always keep it under control.
Okay. I was waiting for that control part to come in.
But a lot of the time he can keep it where he wants it. 2-0. Called strike on the high outside corner. He really likes to pitch against righties. The lefties, he can't use the slider as effectively or else it would cut in towards the batter.
Right.
But watch out when a righty comes up because he will really use it well. A 2-1 on the way home for Hart. Ooh, big curveball fell in, but it stayed outside for ball 3.
What pitcher can control his pitches every time? Not many, if any.
100%, yeah. The 3-1 to Hart. Lifted out towards left field. Davis will chase in and then to his right a little bit and haul it in for out number 1. You can tell there is some growing pains for both Baez and Davis. Davis thought he was set up, then had to move a couple extra feet because it does sweep a little. It's just a guy who hasn't got to play a ton of left field adapting to the position.
Well, as I said, the hardest thing about playing left field with a left-hand batter is the ball is slicing away.
Exactly.
And that is the hardest part to judge.
Could be the outfield we see all weekend long, as it does sound like Elijah McNamee will be away from the team for the rest of the weekend. He's attending some family matters at home. So whatever it happens to be, we wish him the best and hope we see him again next week.
Well, I do too, and I hope it's something serious.
Yeah. 1 ball, no strikes to Braxton Davidson. There's 1 out, nobody on here in the top of the 8th inning.
And the only thing...
1-0 is zoomed towards right field. Baez will run over towards it. Ends up bringing it in. It sounded really good off the bat.
I thought it was gone.
Yeah.
I thought it was gone. But getting back to Big Hit Mac, I hope, again, you said he'd be back next week. I hope so, because if he does make that all-star team, we want him to play.
Well, and this Otters team gets right back on the road after this weekend's 3-game set against Florence to head to Schaumburg and face these Boomers for the last time this season.
Well, we need him. I tell you what, his
ball sent to the left side now. Davis will chase, but it will get its way out of play.
His bat has come alive in the last month, but his defense is his greatest asset.
You see it right there. Schaumburg and Evansville finished this series. 3 games at home with Florence, and then it's right back on the road to face Schaumburg again.
Yeah.
This is a tough Schaumburg team. Seeing them a lot here in these next couple weeks. The 0-1 to Alec Craig. Ooh, big curveball fell in for strike 2.
Oh my God, that was a beauty.
And it stayed even for a long way home, and then it dove
right
towards the bottom of the zone.
Right, it sank. like the Titanic.
0-2 for Craig. That one curves too far inside and bounces in for ball one. Might hear some bangs in the background. More fireworks going off around the Evansville area. Gotta get all that, get your stash all worked out after buying all the fireworks all weekend, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. My daughter called from New Jersey and asked what's going on. I said, well, your brother and your brother-in-law had the fireworks, so, and they said, oh, great, which they do every year. And we were out in the country, so outside of the deer and the rabbits and the corn, there's not much to enjoy. So yeah, we exploded. Well, they exploded a few big ones.
1-2 count to Alec Craig. Curveball inside, evens the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gallardo trying to zoom through this inning nice and quickly. Two from Augie Gallardo. Tossed home.
Oh,
Missed outside and low.
This umpire, there's no doubt, squeezing that home plate.
Tell you what, it's been difficult. The 3-2 sent towards Bierman, foul, and it gets past him. Doesn't matter, it is foul. And the count remains 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes to Alec Craig with 2 outs and nobody on here in the 8th. Augie Gallardo trying to make it a 3-up, 3-down. Top half of the 8th, and time is called by Craig. If Craig can find his way on, William Solis is on deck. The 3-2. Swinging, strike 3, and a German-American Bank strikeout finishes off the 8th inning. We head to the bottom half of the 8th. Otters lead by 1 here on the Otters Digital Network. Don't go anywhere. Exciting conclusion coming at you next. We head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. A new pitcher on for the Schaumburg Boomers, Luis Perez, who hails from Sabana Grande, Dominican Republic, making his 3rd appearance for the Boomers this season. He will look to keep this game where it's at, a 3-2 advantage for the Otters. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. It's Perez on the mound. Ruiz behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. We're here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, and as expected, Logan Sawyer is starting to warm up for the Otters in the right field bullpen, so that once we get to the 9th inning, he's ready for another save opportunity. But before that, the Otters have a chance to add some insurance to their lives. They did it last night. See if they can do it tonight as well.
Well, 1-run lead is not a big lead going into the last inning.
The three that will come to the plate, at least for the Otters: Zach Bierman, J.R. Davis, Steven Sinsley.
We were talking about Big Mac earlier, Big Hit Mac. I wonder if he's home listening to you broadcast this game.
Well,
I hope so.
if he is, we miss you here, Elijah. We hope things are going well back at home. We'll see you next week, whenever it is you come back to Otterville, and we'll be holding down the fort.
And in all honesty, Big Mac, we miss you. And that is a truthful expression of thought from this guy.
First pitch to Zach Bierman is fouled off high and left for strike one. Defense is pulled a bit to the right side, but only in the infield for Zach Bierman. The outfield all playing straight up. The 0-1 for Zach Bierman. Pitch is on the way home from Luis Perez. Sent directly at Dawson at second. He knew exactly where to set up, and it's out number one here in the 8th inning. Well, someone knew where to be set up there. Perfectly played.
Well, I'm going to say Bierman led his first time up. He hit a shot at second. He just hit another shot at second. So he may have not got a base hit, but I tell you, he's hitting the ball well.
And 3 of his 4 opportunities tonight were all rocket shots to that second baseman.
That's what I'm saying, right.
Yeah. J.R. Davis at the plate now. He's grounded out twice and flew out once.
Oops, my glasses.
First pitch works high and inside. It wouldn't be an Evansville Otters game if we didn't have a scenario where J.R. Davis took a pitch high and inside and barely got out of the way. I think it's every game he plays, one pitch works in towards his helmet.
I wonder how that ball player that got hit the other night, I wonder how he's doing. Is he back in the lineup deal?
I haven't checked, actually.
We felt sorry for him because I was describing to some friends.
A 1-0 play put to the left side. Salas to first in time for out number 2. 5-3 on the putout.
I was describing to some friends about that, and I said, in all the years, I've seen a lot of guys get hit, but I've never seen a batting helmet fly about 20 feet.
It just went flying.
Right, and so it must have been a pretty hard hit. A ball that hit his head. Anyway.
Yeah, we certainly hope everything is all right there.
So do I. That was it. That was in the first game. He never played the rest.
Yeah. Long wait for Sinsley, and he's going to call time. He's currently the last Otter up to the plate here in the 8th.
I hope it is.
First pitch to him. Big swinging strike one, has him down in the count.
Now, do you think there's someone out there in baseball world saying, what did he mean by I hope this is the last guy? Simply, it means you hope the Otters don't have to bat again.
0-1 the count to Steven Sinsley. Pitch on the way. Swinging strike 2. The good news is that Briley Ware, that player you were talking about that got hit in the back of the helmet, of course, he didn't play any of the rest of the series against Evansville or Game 1 against Windy City, but he's played the last 3, picked up hits in a couple of games. Good to see he's back up to his old ways.
Yes, I'm happy to.
Definitely makes, I'm sure, Justin Watland feel a whole lot better because I know he felt bad about the whole incident happening. 0-2 the count to Steven Sinsley. Pitch headed home, a half swing. He holds his bat well enough, and the count's at 1-2.
You remember Herb's score? The Cleveland pitcher, Tony Kubek, with the Yankees, went back and hit him right in the face, and there went his major league career. I mean, that was the end of it. And he ended up being a broadcaster. That's where I got to know him, up there in the Cleveland stadium when I'd have dinner with him. And so a real nice guy. Herb score.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Steven Sinsley. Pitch on the way home. A half-hearted swinging strike 3, and He starts to run towards first, and they throw down, and that is the end of the 8th.
Yeah.
Logan Sawyer set to come in to try to record his league-leading 14th save of the year. It's coming at you next on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. To the top of the 9th we go, and the Frontier League's, maybe all of independent ball's best closer enters the game, Logan Sawyer, who has 13 saves on the season. That does lead the Frontier League. The man from Knoxville, Tennessee, looking for number 14. This color bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Sawyer on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. You know, the thing that makes this new setup man and closer dangerous from the Otters, it was very good between Joe Riley and Logan Sawyer.
Right.
Now with it being Augie Gallardo, he's a guy who throws a lot of off speed, a lot of breaking pitches. So you see him, and then all of a sudden you see Logan Sawyer, who's steaming it by at 96, 97.
Yeah, I remember 95s, but 96, 97, what the heck's the 1 mile per hour more? But the thing is, Matthew, what I am surprised at, and I'm very, very serious when I say this, we've lost several of our players due to franchise baseball. I thought this would be one of the first men to go. I mean, he deserves to be pitching in the, Midwest League or the Carolina League or somewhere else. He has done a yeoman job, and I hope the opportunity presents itself that he's not with us at the end of the year.
Absolutely. As much as it would be unfortunate to not have him on this squad, as the team is better with him, the team is also better without him, because it's good for the team to get another guy up into affiliated baseball at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what this baseball's all about.
Absolutely.
Every kid in high school, and I'm quite sure when you started.
Ball sent bouncing towards Armstrong, plays it off of his knee, takes a weird hop on him, and it's going to be a leadoff man on with an error on Armstrong.
That is one of the few times I've ever seen him play it badly. He waited on it instead of keeping charging. He waited for the big hop when he should have smothered it, but that's history now.
Well, we're still sitting in the same scenario, except now there's a runner on first. Otters are going to play a double play situation as Brett Milazzo heads to the plate.
Is it a bunt situation? No,
First
he's
pitch
not
to
bunting.
him, called strike on the high outside corner.
Anthony better play it a little in. We can't afford to let this guy get on second base.
0-1 the count to Brett Milazzo, a .329 average and 28 RBIs. Solid 8-hole hitter. Shows bunt, lays it right back up the middle. Picked up by Sawyer to first, and it hits the the runner in the back of the helmet. A long throw again, and the run's coming home, and the game is tied.
Wait a minute. The umpire on.
Oh, they're saying the runner's out because he went out of the regular base path.
Right.
He's out.
Yep, that is the rule.
So there's going to be a lot of fallout from this play.
That is the rule. You've got to stay within that frame.
But I think the run is still going to score.
No, the ball be dead.
Just depends on when they're saying the ball became dead.
Well, it should be dead when the minute he got hit with the ball.
Yeah, I guess so.
If I didn't see it as clearly as you did, but if the batter,
so they are moving the runner all the way back to first.
Right. Yes, because the ball's dead. If you describe it better to me. It was a bunt that Logan threw and hit the runner going to first base, the batter. Is that right?
Yes, that is. There is a man that's just been tossed from the bench for Schaumburg. I think it's their pitching coach down there, but I can't tell his number for sure. And now their manager, Jamie Bennett, is also letting his voice be heard, and he might find the same fate. Well, he's sure testing it. He's still staying in the game for now.
Well, as long as he don't use any
special words.
Profanity.
Yes.
But again, let's go back to the original. If Logan hit the bunter in the head or wherever, that automatically means he's out. The ball is dead. The runner on first has to go back to first base. Now, I don't know. Is that the way we're seeing it?
I was just making sure that that's how they were calling it. And it does look like that is what they're going to call.
Okay.
That's why I was confused. I didn't know exactly what they were deciding to call. So,
okay, so now we still got the runner on first, and there's one out. The whole complex of the game has changed back.
And Jordan Wiley is going to pinch hit for Chris Ruiz here in the 9 spot.
Okay.
Just when it seemed the game was going to be tied on a play that was moving so quickly we couldn't keep up with it. The umpires slow everything down, reset, and are able to get things the correct call now.
Well, I think it's the umpire on back at second base is the one who really called the play. Maybe he's the umpire in chief.
The 0-1 to Jordan Wiley.
Strike.
Just misses on the outside edge. Salas still stands on first now.
You know, if I was a drinking man, I'd have another beer.
1-1 the count to Jordan Wiley.
Ooh.
Swinging strike 2. Sawyer caught him on a pitch that broke low and inside.
And a little off speed, too.
Now, I'm not exactly sure who got tossed, so I can't give you that honestly. The one I thought I saw that was still waving his arms yelling was, I believe, the pitching coach, Jake Joyce, but don't hold me to that. I couldn't really tell with the dark shadows down there.
Yeah.
A 1-2 count to Jordan Wiley. Swinging strike 3, and it's 2 outs now. And that's a really important strikeout that shows I'm not fazed by the excitement that happened there and all that chaos that happened. I got right back into things.
Yeah.
And now the batter steals second.
What happened? What
Everybody's
did I miss?
looking around.
What did I miss?
The runner just ran to second and got a stolen base.
Nobody was paying attention.
Sawyer had 1 foot on the mound, or on the beginning of the mound, so he thought he was safe, but the second base umpire said that the foot was not planted yet.
Ah.
So Chase Dawson at the plate now. Lifts one out towards the foul territory and left side. Davis goes chasing. It's going to get out of play.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this much. This is one of the strangest 9th innings the Otters have seen all year.
Oh, I tell you. Yeah, my heart can only take so much. And it's been filled with excitement tonight.
Tonight's attendance, 1,553.
1,553. The announced attendance
Not
here.
bad.
Not bad for a Wednesday night. A hot Wednesday night.
Right.
The 0-1 stays up high.
Okay, I'm you know what I was about to say until that runner got on second. Parker's mother probably, you started off listening to the game, and she's hopefully still listening, and he'd get the win if we end the game as is.
I do want to say thank you to Christina Brahms, Parker's mother. She did send me a happy birthday message today.
Oh,
That
she
meant a lot.
did.
Thanks a
Oh.
ton.
Well,
Counts at 2-1 for Chase Dawson, one of the most explosive runners and hitter combos in this league. This is a huge RBI chance for him.
Yeah.
2-1 count against one of the best pitchers this league has right now. He could make it count. Sawyer's hoping for the opposite. The 2-1 headed home from Logan Sawyer. Right back up the middle. Into the glove of Khalil.
great.
And that's how this one ends. The Otters get a gritty 3-2 win, and they've tied the franchise record with 9 wins in a row.
Yeah, but
What a way to do it.
I tell you what, if George wasn't in that area with that runner on second, if he was at a normal shortstop, that went right through the left field.
And that's a hard play to make because you couldn't see the ball because of the umpire.
Right. Oh,
what a game.
What a game.
Take a deep breath, Otter fans. Otters win this one 3-2. Parker Brahms gets the win, his 5th of the year. Aaron Glickstein gets the loss, his 3rd of the year. He drops to 3-3. Logan Sawyer gets his league-leading 14th save. And at the end of the night, we can all finally breathe easy. What a game we had here between these two. And the best part about it is we get another one tomorrow night.
Oh, I tell you, this was exciting. This was worth the money anyone paid to see this game.
Well, the game got started with a run for Schaumburg in the 2nd inning. They linked together back-to-back-to-back singles, the 3rd one by William Solis, bringing in the game's first run. 1 inning later in the 3rd, the Otters scored their first run after Andy Armstrong sacrifice bunted both runners over, a sac fly RBI for Miles Ward, even the game at 1 apiece. But right back at you, said the Schaumburg Boomers in the 4th inning. They brought home a run on a sacrifice fly of their own, this one from Alec Craig. Then, another inning later, the Otters did it right back to him in the 5th inning on a sac fly, this time by Andy Armstrong, even the game at 2 apiece. 1 inning later in the 6th, George Khalil hit his 5th home run of the year, his first ever home run in the confines of Bosse Field, and that's all the Otters needed. Went on to win 3-2, had a ton of excitement in that 9th inning, but they got it done.
Yeah, but let's go back to that George's home run. Right before he made that great home run, the inning before, the half inning before, he made one of the most spectacular catches one could ever witness. That belongs on ESPN all week long. And I'm going to have to give the gold star to George for tonight's win.
Well, and to have a catch like that where you tracked, I'm going to guess, this is just kind of an estimation, I'm guessing it's about 200 feet he covered to make that catch over the shoulder.
I'm going to say 250 feet.
At least it was.
Yes.
It was a long run for him. He gets there, makes the catch, comes up the next half inning, hits his first home run here at home, and gives the Otters the win. It's his 2nd game-winning RBI in a week span.
Well, congratulations, George, and I'm entering you in the next Kentucky Derby. I mean, when he went from the shortstop spot to the left field fence to catch that ball, I could not believe he had a horse's trot. I mean, he was one after another. And anyway, congratulations to all the Otters.
Want to go through the Fox Sports WIFX Frontier League scoreboard once again. The New Jersey Jackals defeat the Ottawa Titans 10-2 in Game 2 of their doubleheader. The Quebec Capitals have a 5-1 lead at Tri-City. In the bottom of the 7th, the Lake Erie Crushers are leading the Florence Yalls 10-6. In the 8th, the Sussex County Miners currently behind the New York Boulders 5-4. Empire State and Trois-Rivières tied at 6 runs apiece in the 7th inning. And Gateway has an 8-0 advantage at Joliet in the 7th inning. And then finally, the last final of the game of the day, the Windy City Thunderbolts defeat the Washington Wild Things 4-3 on the road, and the Otters are just a half game out of first.
Half a game out, yes.
Always nice to I mean, there's still so much time left. We've said that many times, but it's a nice position to be in. You've won 9 straight. You're back a half game out of first place. You're really controlling your own destiny in these next couple weeks as you approach the All-Star break.
Well, it gives you confidence. And, it's like I used to tell my players when I was coaching, you know, playing against the Yankees is the same as playing against any high school team or whatever. If you wanna make the game as tough as possible, you want to be as aggressive and as positive as possible. Excuse me. Going into any game saying they're a better team than me, no sense in playing the game. Give them the win automatically. So anyway, big man, it was a pleasure working another game with you, and I will see you tomorrow night. My taxi is waiting for me.
Well, we'll cut it off here as the Otters are able to get their second win in as many nights. They win the series here and extend their winning streak to 9 games. That ties a franchise record for wins in a row. They'll go for the record tomorrow night against another good outing by the Schaumburg Boomers. They'll throw Kyle Arjona, who is 2-4 on the season with a 6.30 ERA. Austin Gossman will throw for the Otters. We've got it all coming at you tomorrow evening with pregame starting at 6:20. You can join Bill and I for every pitch of the game, both on Flow Sports and here on the Otters Digital Network. Again, we want to issue an apology for some of the internet issues we've had here and there. We thank you for your patience, and we hope that you join us again tomorrow night as the Boomers and Otters conclude their 3-game set, the final game they'll play here at Bosse Field all year long. For all of us here at the Evansville Otters, he's Bill McEwen. I'm Matthew Will. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Otters Baseball. We'll talk to you tomorrow night as the Boomers and the Otters conclude their 3-game set.
God bless.